I have a capital idea. Should I share it with you? Of course I should. That's why you're here, right? Hi everyone, David G in Washington, D.C. Very warm and windy Washington, D.C. I think the temperature is around the 100-degree mark and the humidity level feels about the same. But enough about the weather. It's not why I'm here. What to do in D.C. Let's talk about that instead. In fact, that is actually a question some of the people who work in that building behind me ask on occasion as well. But forget about that. It's not that kind of story either. So a friend of mine called me the other day. He said, hey, I'm coming in town for a conference. What should I do? Got a couple hours to play tourist. Okay, so he's come to the right guy. I'm kind of known immodestly as the answer guy, and certainly in certain circles as the travel guy as well. I've lived and worked in Europe, Hawaii, and Canada, traveled to Central America to build a house in Haiti, to South America to teach English in the poor sections of Lima, Peru, announced professional downhill ski races in Sapporo, Japan, and lived and traveled all over the US as a network TV news reporter and anchor, and now professional speaker and storyteller. So back to my friend. I'm a visual guy, so rather than tell him what to do, I thought I'd show him. And through the magic of YouTube, you can tag along as well. So what to do and see in DC? Let's just call it a 3-hour tour, shall we?
Welcome to the U.S. Capitol.
Yeah, welcome indeed to the U.S. Capitol. Since 1800, Congress has met here to represent the people and make laws. Both the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives share the building. And the first place you walk into at the Visitor Center, it's called Emancipation Hall. It honors the enslaved people who labored to build the Capitol building back in 1793. But the first place you actually go to on the tour is an area called the Crypt. Not the fanciest room in the Capitol by any stretch, but it does serve an important function, literally. The arches and 40 columns not only hold up the ceiling, but also the 9 million pound dome that is so prominent at the top of the building. Now, there's a lot of engineering on display here, and bear in mind it was all built without power tools. Also on display, the powerful National Mall design of Pierre L'Enfant, a French-American artist, professor, and engineer who designed the National Mall and, of course, put the Capitol in the most prominent spot up on the hill.
Now let's go upstairs to see the Rotunda, the room directly under the dome.
As you might imagine, the Rotunda is the center of attention around here. In fact, the ceremonial center of the Capitol. It's been used to hold special events, display new art, and to honor national leaders and citizens who have served the country honorably and with distinction. At the top of the dome is a painting over plaster that measures over 4,000 square feet. In fact, to give you some perspective, you could stand up the Statue of Liberty in here and have room for a full NBA-sized basketball court within that painting. A witness to history, a symbol of democracy, and a must-see for your Washington tour. By the way, reservations are required. Also requiring reservations, just a couple of blocks down the street, a repository of hundreds of the world's most significant objects in aviation and space history.
Everything you see here is the real thing. Like, you didn't see the Wright Flyer at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. It is actually here upstairs in one of our galleries. The real airplane, the very first one.
From the first flight to the first steps on the moon, millions of people discover stories of air and space exploration at the museum every year. Now, it's actually in the midst of a monumental renovation which began back in 2018 and will continue through 2026. But they still have plenty to do and see today.
The big one, it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
See his little arms?
And he's eating.
Yes, Virginia, that is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, a must-have and must-see for any natural history museum. This is the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History in D.C., where big is kind of a thing. Big dinosaurs, big animals, a huge building, 1.5 million square feet, and a gigantic collection. of nearly 150 million specimens and artifacts. Wrap your head around that. Even the diamonds are big. That's right. The Smithsonian Museum of Natural History is home to one of the largest diamonds in existence, the 45-carat Hope diamond. Truly a jewel in the crown of the Smithsonian's most popular museum.
You know, it would look glorious in your living room.
To a museum of natural history to a museum of living history of sorts. Of course, I'm talking about the White House behind me, where the President of the United States lives. And believe it or not, this is as close as I could get on this side, and on the other side, 8th Street. I couldn't even get into Lafayette Park, not even close to that fence that fronts the White House. So, in case you don't remember what it looks like, this is it. And in case you're wondering why I didn't give you a look at the inside, since you already know what the outside looks like, presumably, well, it is closed until mid-September for repairs and remodeling, some repainting, refurbishing as well. Also, I didn't have enough time. Not time in this video, but lead time. You need to contact your member of Congress and give them 21 to 90 days to secure your admittance to a White House tour. So, next time. In the meantime, we're out of time. So long from Washington, D.C., I'm David G.